understand or are aware of the so-called front shop bed factory. The Pearl River Delta factories has been producing a lot of goods, and many of these factories are in fact invested by the Hong Kong industrialists. And Hong Kong is the link to the global market of all this industrial base. And the relationship has changed a little bit. Apart from manufacturing industry, now we are talking about the expansion of services industry to Pearl River Delta and even the whole mainland. And we have, you may always heard about this CEPA. I don't know how many of you know the full name of this CEPA. It stands for the Closer Economic Partnership Arrangement. It means that China is opening up to some of the service industry based in Hong Kong. Apart from that, we have some sort of a government cooperation arrangement. So the Hong Kong and the Guangdong provincial government has some sort of a cooperation joint conference, and this joint conference held every year and co-chaired by the governor of Guangdong and the chief executive of Hong Kong. So there are that is the more or less the coordination mechanism between Hong Kong and the Guangdong at the provincial level. So we have the cooperation joint conference, and down there's a working meeting between co-chaired by the chief secretary and the vice governor of the Guangdong province, and there is a liaison office so that we can discuss issues on a more routine basis. And down there are a number of so-called expert groups, and one of the expert groups is on the town planning and development. There has been an emergence of the Greater Pearl River Delta City region, and many may ask, who planned for this? I don't think anybody can plan this. Even Deng Xiaoping, he may not be able to plan this. It is basically the socio-economic force that has made this city region emerged. And within this city region, we can see there are several major cities: Hong Kong, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, and apart from that, the other cities are also very strong in their economic base. And with this, the central government published the outline of the plan for the reform and development of the Pearl River Delta. So that is only referred to the Pearl River Delta. The major content of this is that the Pearl River Delta cities should cooperate more closely with Hong Kong and Macau, and to face the challenges of the global competition in economical terms. Apart from that, they also called for enhancement in the social services, enhancement in environmental quality, enhancement in the so-called mode of production, not only focus on very labor-intensive and low-tech manufacturing production, but they need to switch to or enhance itself to some more high-tech and less polluting industrial operation. And at the same time, Hong Kong and the Guangdong provincial government also come into agreement on the so-called, we call it the framework agreement on the cooperation. And this framework agreement covers a lot of aspects: air, water conservation, the supply of fresh water, the cooperation in the supply of electricity, transportation, cooperation in transportation planning, food safety, education cooperation. Almost all governance issue that you can think about is almost included in this. And these documents can be checked from the website. So with this, both sides, I mean the Hong Kong SAR government and the Hong Kong government has come into a common vision, saying that the overall development goal for the region is to jointly build the most dynamic, internationally competitive, world-class city cluster of the Asia Pacific region. So that is the goal both sides agreed. Well, Hong Kong is a global city. It is not because we consider ourselves as a global city. There are a number of so-called indices indicate that we, in terms of in the so-called global city level, we rank the third after New York and London. And if the Greater Pearl River Delta would like itself to become a global city region, then Hong Kong must have a very important role to play. I would like to spend a little bit of time on the strategic planning concepts of Hong Kong. Paul may one day ask me, do we have an overall plan for Hong Kong? Yes, we do have. We do have. But you may see so-called the whole Hong Kong must be in a quotation mark. The first holistic plan for Hong Kong was prepared by Sir Patrick Abercrombie in 1948 after the Second World War. After Sir Patrick completed the Greater London Plan, he came to Hong Kong and prepared a development plan, overall development plan for Hong Kong. And after that, we have the Colony Outline Plan, telling us where to do, where to develop what. And for the first time, we introduced our planning standard, which is a very important document. We still are using it nowadays. And then we have the Hong Kong Outline Plan. And between that, we have the 10-year housing program. So we, this year, to me, is a very interesting year. On 1972, on one hand, we declared the 10-year housing plan so that we move our development very quickly to develop our new towns, and at the same time, we gazetted the country park ordinance. So on one hand, we develop. On the other hand, we conserve. And then we have the territorial development strategy in the mid of 1980s, and with that, we also developed our port and airport development strategy. The airport is now in Chek Lap Kok, and the land originally reclaimed for further development of the container terminal is now the land occupied by Disneyland. And then go on, we have the territorial development strategy review, and the latest strategic plan for Hong Kong is the Hong Kong 2030. Here is the Abercrombie plan. It mainly focuses on both the coast of Victoria Harbour. And very interesting, that is the first time the idea of building a cross-harbour tunnel was proposed. For the first time, Sir Patrick asked Hong Kong to consider whether you need some sort of underground rail system like London's tubes. He also proposed the relocation of the railway terminal from Tsim Sha Tsui so that we can free up the land occupied by railway. So we have the Tsim Sha Tsui East office. Oh, 5 minutes more, okay. Then I need to do anything. Yeah. And the Colony Outline Zoning Plan, he proposed the idea of country park. Hong Kong Outline Plan, well, territorial development strategy, that's port and airport development strategy. And for this territorial development strategy review, very interesting. By that time, we already incorporate the ideas of like building a link that may be a road link or a railway link to Shanghai direction. Building a link across the Pearl River Delta Estuary to Macau, Zhongshan, and there are some other link already envisaged by that time. For the 2030, we have the recommended strategy. I need to be very quick. Yeah, and again, we want to conserve as much as possible our countryside and confine our urban development to the existing metro area and the fringe of the new town. And we also need to develop, further develop our regional transport networks so that we can connect better with Pearl River Delta. And as I try to skip this, and with that, we carried out a township, a joint study. That is the first time we cooperate with Hong Kong, with the Guangdong government, to carry out a cross-boundary planning study to look into what has happened in the Pearl River Delta, the Greater Pearl River Delta region, and what sort of cooperation we can have. And nearly the completion of this study, Macau want to join us, so that become a joint study between Hong Kong, Macau, and the Guangdong province. And there are some what we call the recommendation about the development pattern in this region. They introduced the idea of 1 hour transport circle within cities and inter-cities.